What is up, happy family? Good morning, good night, good afternoon. How you doing? I just wanted to make this quick intro snippet for every video I do for the series I'm doing. I'm gonna be doing Read the Bible with Smiley or something like that. I haven't decided what the name's gonna be yet. Bear with me. I'm just gonna do it just because I've never read the Bible fully through by myself. And it's going to be a good experience, one for me, and I hope it's a good experience for whoever's reading this and watching this, because I want it to be a very fun experience. Nowadays, people are so boring. They read about you know, so you gotta give some life back into God. God is love, peace, and happiness. And I don't know why people make him so he is savage. God is very righteous and a very I was going to say judgmental, but that sounds so rude. He is a lawful God, if that makes sense. But he originally wanted everything to be happiness of love. So I wanted to spread more love and happiness into this. Of course, it's going to be serious times because the Bible do get serious. But mainly, I just want everything to be happy. And I want to save at least one soul. So if you're watching this and you're one soul that's going to save, please be in me. And even though I'm inspiring you, even if you didn't watch one video and I'm inspiring you, you never watch me again, girl, that's fine. I just want to say one soul from eternal damnation of hell, and then all of this will be worth it. Even if I only save myself, because I'm doing this to save myself too, then all will be worth it. Again, if you want to know my religious beliefs, because I don't have a religion, but I do believe in God and Jesus Christ. To get more into that, I will link that down below. So, that being said, I don't want to be leading the people the wrong way. And I believe the Bible has been mistranslated, misconstructed, I don't even know if that was the word. And people might have added or watered down some stuff in the New Testament. Right now we're in the Old Testament. I think everything's in the Old Testament, but I don't know. So, before we even get into anything, I want to make sure everything is true and pure and right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hand like this with the Bible, and we're just gonna pray. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope everyone has a great day. Enjoy yourself. God is great. Amen. Y'all, I recorded this video not once, not twice, but 3 times. Nope, I recorded it 2 times. I don't know what I'm talking about. And it just wasn't what I wanted to do. So from now, I'm just gonna give summaries of the chapters of the Bible, because I'm trying to finish the Bible by January 1st, so I can start off the new year I've read the Bible. And I read a lot faster. I don't have to record, edit, and post, because I was reading, and then another day I would record and edit, and then another day I would finish and editing and posting it, and then I won't have time again to do that again for another week or two. That's what it's just been. And I wouldn't read during those 2 weeks because of work and stuff like that. So now I think I would just read on the side, and then I'll just come back and give you guys a summary of the chapter instead of trying to read to you guys word for word of the book. For one, so I hope you guys really get into this video. I was reading my notes. That's the second video I did, was when I was just reading my notes that I took on each thing. But now I'm not even gonna do that. I'm gonna just give you guys a summary. Instead of reading chapter per chapter, and chapter 30 says this and chapter 20 says this, I'm gonna just give you a summary of multiple chapters, and then in sections. But so we're still gonna do all the chapters left of the Bible, and I think the last one I posted was 30. So we're going to do chapters 31 through 50 today. 31 through 50. And then, yeah, and I'm going to just give you guys summaries of groups of chapters. Okay, so this is going to be the chapters of the summary of chapters 31 through 36. I'm trying to keep my bookmark here, and the wind is blowing. Hopefully you guys can hear me better because of the mic, and it isn't too crazy in sound effects right now. I won't be able to know until I edit this video. Hopefully I don't gotta make a part 4, bruh. But so during these chapters, I think in chapter 30 is when it started to be when they started, they were explaining all their kids, and like Leah and Rachel were like competitioning with each other about who's gonna give Jacob the most kids. So they were giving them his servants. It was like, oh, I can have a kid. Okay, you can have my servant. And then finally ended off with Joseph, who of course is like the next big person in the Bible, being Rachel's firstborn actual kid in her. Like she made Jacob have sex with her servant, so she had like a surrogate kid, but like that Joseph was like her first kid of her own body, because God finally blessed her because she kept praying on it and stuff like that. Because y'all didn't know before that God took away her ability to have children to punish Jacob for not being respectful to Leah and loving Leah. Okay, so chapter 31, I think it starts with, when Jacob flees from Laban. Okay, so time went past and Jacob starts to be really wealthy, because back then, if you were like a farmer, which was like a shepherd back then, and people gave you like money for animals and for food and crops and everything. So you became really rich because everybody had to live their life based off of you. If you didn't have you, they would have been struggling. So he became really wealthy to the point that he was almost as wealthy as Laban. I know he made Laban really wealthy because Jacob lived under Laban, so he worked as a real hard worker. So when he went up, Laban went up. So Laban was really high now, and so but Jacob started to be even higher, because if you know, they ended off it with Jacob was like forcing some of the animals to be striped in order for him to get them and be fast so that he could make more money, honey. So he did deceive them. So Laban was starting to get broker because he was getting the weaker animals, and Jacob was starting to be good. So he started to almost reach him, and Laban was like, oh no. So he started to hate on him. So he started to like lower his wages and stuff. And then now Jacob heard that Laban's son were like plotting against him, like, Jacob is taking everything we own and blah 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 blah. So he was praying about it, and God was like, go back to the land of your family or whatever. So then Jacob said, "Aight," and then he went back to, I think he was on the way back to his family. I don't know if he ever made it all the way back to his family. I really don't know. But I don't think so, because of what happens towards the end of his life. But so he was on the way back to his family, and they were camped out for a second, resting and stuff. And it was about like 3 days later after he left with his family on camels and his sons and stuff. Now he has like, I think 11 kids, remember? 10 or I think he had 10 or 11. Laban hears that he left, and he's like, oh, my money supply left. That's disrespectful. And he took him in as like a son, so he's like mad disrespectful. So he went to go chase after him. So 7 days later, they caught up with them. And Laban's like, why would you like leave? Why would you take stuff from me? Blah blah. And Jacob was looking at him like, stuff? I would never take anything from you. What are you talking about? Not knowing that his own wife Rachel already stole from her father some idols, like some idols is what people call like gods back then, who are not actually God. I'm not gonna get into details on that today. But so when Rachel heard, Jacob was like, you can go around looking everywhere I got and look for your idols, but I don't got them. But go ahead, go look. And then Laban was like, all right. So he went to all of Jacob's tents and everything. And when Rachel heard he was going around, she grabbed the idols and she put them in a camel sack, like a camel thing, and she sat on it. So when her father came in, and she's like, sorry, I can't greet you, I'm on my period, like the discussion kind of stuff. And he was like, no, you good. So Laban didn't find anything. While Jacob noticed he wasn't finding anything, he was like, it started to really kick in. He was like, the disrespect. You really think I would steal for you? Blah, 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 blah. Now, I don't know if he ever found out if Rachel stole the things. Because I don't know if I don't think it says it in here. That's why I don't remember. Because I literally read this chapter like a month ago. But maybe like 2 weeks. Because that's the last time I posted a video, like 2 weeks. So after the mom didn't find anything, he's like, okay, I trust you again. And they basically made a treaty saying that, because on this land, from this rock, I would not cross it to harm you, and you would not cross it on my side to harm me. And made a deal that said, okay, cool. What part was I about to forget? I was just remembering something, but I forgot. Okay, so I guess with all this good graciousness and coming on, Jacob got real in his feelings, like if we can forgive each other, maybe me and my brother can forgive each other or whatever. So he sent out word that he wanted to meet with his brother Esau. And then the word got back to him. They said Esau coming, but he coming with 400 people. And then they was like, and so he's like, oh, he's still trying to kill me. Maybe it's not a fact, but like he's still maybe trying to kill me. And I'm thinking Esau probably was trying to think Jacob was trying to kill him, because if someone was telling me, does he want to kill you, I probably would have my people set up to kill them if everything goes wrong. So he's like, oh yeah, my brother's trying to kill me too. You see what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure there was some crazy thoughts going on over there. And so when he heard he was going out, he was coming with 400 men. He sent like gifts and stuff towards them, so that way they knew like he wasn't coming in no rash, harsh way. That he was coming in peace. So they sent gifts ahead of him, so that way by the time Esau met with them, he would know like, okay, my brother's like cool. And he also sent his like wife and kids away with all of their belongings, so that way if they did try to come and kill him and take his stuff, then like they would still be okay, you know. During that nighttime when he was alone, it says he wrestled with God. Now to this day I'm still confused on if it was like God's form on man, because they said God came down as a man way more times, like multiple times, before he came down as Jesus. So I don't know if it was like an angel, because it says like a stranger, God, a stranger, an angel, stranger. It says some type of like holy stranger is what it says from the Bible. So it doesn't really say if it's an angel, if it was God himself, or just a holy man. But it's known to have that person has some type of holiness power to them. And it said like when I first read that he wrestled him, I thought it was like some type of metaphor, but no, he literally wrestled the man. And so it doesn't say how the man got there, whatever. He just like popped up. It was just saying that he came. And it says like Jacob was like, "You're gonna bless me. I'm not letting you go until you bless me." And they were literally wrestling, like hugging war with each other all night. And then the angel holiness dude was like, "It's starting to be nighttime. Like, are we gonna do this all the way until the day? I can't be here until daytime." And he was like, "I'm not letting you go until you bless me. I'm not letting you go until you bless me." And so he refused. So then the angel holiness dude stroked him down, like stroked him. It said he like took a blow to his heel or to his leg or something around the bottom of half of his body. And since then, Jacob walked with a limp. And then the angel holiness dude renamed him Israel, because Israel means he who struggles with God. But he blessed him. He did bless him. It doesn't say exactly what he blessed him with, but he blessed him, probably saying like, you're going to be great with numerous kids, with kids that are going to have destinies and destiny. I'm pretty sure it's probably what's the same promises he gave Abraham, the same promises God gives multiple people so far about descendants and stuff like that. So yeah, and that's why I didn't know. Like, I always thought the Israelites were like people in the city, like how I'm an American because I live in America. So I thought it was just like a named place. I don't know how it got named, and then it was just people who lived in that place that they called the Israelites, and then that place ended up being like God's people because of people there were really holy or something. I don't know exactly what I thought. I thought it was something around that, like generations of people went there of God's people, and they all found a land, and that's why it was called Israel, and then they were Israelites because they lived there. But I learned reading the Bible that the Israelites are Jacob's sons and grandkids, and their wives and kids and stuff like that all the way. So the Israelites are, because they named him Israel, and it's his descendants, so it's Israelites. Like, isn't that crazy? Well, it might not be crazy to see this crazy to me though. So anyway, so yeah, so he finally blessed him, and then somehow the family came back. It didn't say like when the family came back or whatever. So Esau's man finally showed up. They showed him other people. So Jacob put all his servants like in the front, his family in the back, and they were like staying like put like no, don't hurt us. And so Jacob went to go meet Esau. You know how like when there's like a war and like one person goes out to meet the other person, it was like that. And Jacob went to go meet Esau, and then they hugged each other and they started crying like, I'm sorry, you know, brotherly love, and so everything was good. And then Esau was like, I cannot take all these gifts from you. And he's like, he's seen his family, his sons. He was like, these are your sons. I'm not taking all of this food and stuff from y'all guys. Y'all gotta eat, blah blah. And Jacob's like, you have to take it as a sign of our like goodness and love that we good now. So he didn't want to take it for a while. Then Jacob finally, Esau finally took it. And then, yeah, so they were living together for a while. Like, they were living in the same land for a while, Jacob and Esau. But like how Abraham and Lot were, how like their numbers just started to grow really, really, really big, that it was too big of a point that they couldn't live together anymore because there's not enough room of the land and stuff. So they had to separate. And then a couple of years went past, and now Jacob's kids are getting a little older. They're probably in their 20s or something. And his daughter Dinah, who was Leah's kid, I don't remember if Leah's still alive now, because it just talks about Leah's death, but it doesn't have like a big significant thing around Leah's death. Like, it has one about Rachel, one about everybody, actually almost everybody else of wives and stuff so far, but there's one about Leah. So I don't know if Leah's still alive. If Leah's still alive right now, but so Leah's daughter with Jacob named Dinah was going to do something in the town that women do. And while she was doing that, the ruler of that time, if that land, seen her, and he was like, ooh, she cute. Now there's a pharaoh and there's pharaoh who rules all of the land, and then there's like certain lands, like certain cities, and then he makes rulers of that land so they can take care of it, report back to him if they got any problems, you know what I'm saying? It's like manager and then assistant manager or something like that, you know? What time is it? I'll be having to go to work soon. Oh, I gotta go to work soon. I'm gonna try to hurry this up. Okay, and so the ruler of that land was like, oh, she cute. So he took her and he raped her. And the Dinah went home crying to her father. They let him know what's on. Jacob told his sons. Let's just say that wasn't happening. Okay. So Jacob's sons Levi and Simeon. I think mainly like Levi and it was all his sons, but it was like the main corporates was Levi and Simeon. Were super angry. So when the rulers who raped her and their father found out, the father was like, no, when the ruler told the father what happened, or the father just found out, the father was like, he felt like disgusted, so he wants to go to them and apologize and become peace, because he's like, we don't want any problems with your people, like, okay. So he came, and then the brother was like, no, like, we don't accept your apology, no. no. And finally, they thought, I guess they thought about it, and they was like, the only way we're going to accept your apology is if you become one of us, you become an Israelite. If you become, and the way you show you're an Israelite, if you remember when Abraham made a covenant with God, saying the way you could show you're Israelite and your people around you are with me, and blah, 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 made a covenant with him, is to get the male, all the males have to get circumcised. So he's like, if all y'all can become circumcised and become one of us, then we'll be cool. And they were like, okay, bet. So they went, and they told everybody to get circumcised, and all the males would get circumcised, and they didn't have all the tools and health to get healed and stuff. So they were just like, they had to just like bleed and heal slowly. So they were really in pain because they don't have all the medicinal help that we have nowadays. So while they were in pain, the sons were actually joking. They wasn't really trying to make a treaty. They went and then they killed everybody in that land. Not everybody. I think all of the dudes. I don't know if they killed all the women too. I think they just killed all the dudes who were circumcised, because now they had like a better advantage over them because they were in pain. They can't really move. They were like, no, sword, like no. And they were, and then like the kids were up and they was ready, and so they killed all of the dudes. Okay. The word got back to Jacob, and Jacob, of course, wasn't happy. Like, what are you doing? Do you know what you have done to me? And then they're like, but should this is Genesis chapter 34, verse 31. They said, but they replied, should he have treated our sister like a prostitute? They're like, well, excuse me, you mad at us? And so now Jacob's really worried. He's like, they're a ruler of one land. Yes, you destroyed one land, but that one land is of a bigger cost. You know what I'm saying? Like, that one land is, they're a ruler of one land, but Pharaoh is the leader of multiple lands. If Pharaoh got a bigger army than we can never even imagine. So y'all are messed up now. But so Jacob was praying to God. God told him to go to the land of, if y'all remember, when he first anointed the oil with the stones with the rock. He first anointed the stones with oil. What's it called? Bethel, I think. Don't quote me on it. And God said that would be that land. So I believe he started to walk like towards there, and then he saw two angels, and then the two angels. After he saw the two angels, he knew that that was the land for him, because it's like, oh yeah, this must be the land of God, blah blah blah. And but on his way there is when Rachel died, giving birth to his last son Benjamin. Rachel died during childbirth. She named her son Ben Omni, like son of my troubles or something. But then when she died, Jacob, who was Israel, renamed him Benjamin, which I forgot what that means. Let me see if it's right here. Yeah, Benjamin's my son of my right hand. Son of my right hand. Oh, that's so cute. Because, he loves him really well. 36 is just talking about Esau's descendants, because there's so many of them. But I did want to read the little things they be having in here, because they be having some good words. And this is the one on Rachel. And it says, so Jacob said to his household and to all who were with him, get rid of the foreign gods you have with you, and purify yourselves, change your clothes, then come up and let us go to Bethel, where I will build an altar to God, who has answered me in the day of my distress, who has been with me wherever I have gone. So this is what he was telling his family before he left. He was like, get rid of all the idols, get rid of everything that is not of God, so that way this new place we can get just can be of God, and God can forgive us and bless us, you know what I'm saying? So I think Rachel did listen to her husband, and she buried like her idols that she stole from Laban there. So that's why I said I don't know if he ever found out about it, because she buried it and it's just in the Bible now. But so she probably know now, dead and all. She probably know now. And then this is a little note they said. They said, when Jacob called Rachel and the rest of his family to go to Bethel, it's called Bethel. 8 points for me. It was a time of recommitment to God, just a short time. Just a short time earlier, Rachel had stolen her father's idols. It seemed that she believed in God, but she also kept idols. The trip to Bethel was a special time of rededication. It was a time of purification. Rachel gathered the idols and foreign gods she had, along with the rest of the family's idols. They were buried underneath an oak tree. And then it says, this is why I highlighted because it's a good part they said. It said, sometimes we need a time of recommitment to God. Yes, we believe in Jesus, but other things have preoccupied us, or we have not followed God's way as closely as before, and sins have piled us up like heavy suitcases we drag along. Make today a day of rededication of God. Examine your heart to see if you have any idols. Talk to God, confess your sins to Him, ask the Holy Spirit to purify you and give you a clean heart. Accept God's forgiveness and renew your covenant of love with Him. So that's just good, because nowadays, like, idols were like gold and like statues of fake gods and stuff like that. Nowadays, you can think it's anything that can take you away from God. Like, some people would be like, rather watch YouTube or watch TV, including myself. I used to. I can catch myself sometimes being like, let me just watch some more episodes and then I'll read the Bible. I'm making my TV an idol because I'm putting it above God. Do you see how it can be an idol? You can make a person, a human being, an idol when you put your wife or your boyfriend or your kids or anything above God. They are all idols. And I think it's one of the 10 Commandments that's like, thou shalt not have any gods before me, or and an idol is making them a god, or any idols before me. Or girl, get it right, get it tight, get it right, honey. It's about 4 o'clock. I need to really hurry. I might not finish this today. I'm really not gonna finish this today. And while I'm looking at it, the rulers of Edom was, so the 36 is Esau's descendants, the rulers of Edom. And it starts on Joseph with 37. I think I'm gonna just stop here. That way I can do 37 to 50 tomorrow, because I really gotta go to work. But I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of readings more than the actual. I'm gonna just do this really quick. I can finish this because I know how to do this kind of quickly, kind of ish. Yeah, I'm gonna just do this really quick. Okay, so now Joseph is getting bigger. He's 17 years old now, and his brothers hated him because Jacob favored him the most. He even made a nice robe for him and everything. You know, back then they probably had like clothes out of like not that great quality, so he made a great quality for his son Jacob and everything like that. I mean Joseph, his son Joseph and everything like that. So one day Joseph used to have dreams from God, and so Joseph went to go tell his brothers who already didn't like him, like, I had a dream that one day you guys will all bow down to me and blah blah, and then they were just looking like, you think we're gonna bow down to you? And then he had another dream, and he went to go tell his brothers again. He said one day, I had a dream that the sun, the moon, and all the stars bow down to me. And again, they're getting more spiteful, more hateful. Like, excuse me, how dare you tell me that? Blah blah blah. So they really didn't like him. So one day, the brothers went out to go do work in some other land or some other place. And Jacob told his son Joseph to go with them to make sure everything's alright with the herd and stuff. I don't know if that'd take longer, or he just wants to create them to bond, because he knew the son said wasn't that favorite of them. So he probably was trying to be a dad and be like, go bond with your siblings. He's like, make sure the herds and the stuff alright, and make sure your brother's alright. And Joseph, knowing dang well they don't like him, he's like, okay, Dad. So he went, but while he was walking like towards him, because first they weren't in the place they were supposed to be for some reason. I forgot what the reason was, but he found them because he asked other people, like, have you seen them? And they told him. So when they seen him walking up, like from a distance, they were like, we should kill him before he gets here. When he gets here, blah blah. They're like plotting against to like actually kill him. And then what is his name? Reuben, the oldest one, was like, no, let's not kill him. Let's just throw him in this like well water kind of thing. It's not like well, but that's what I call it, water thing back then. He was like, let's not kill him. Let's just throw him in the thing. Blah blah. When everyone said this, he had all intention of coming back for him when his brothers left. But they were like, fine, let's not disgrace God and kill him or whatever. So when Josephine made us film, was like, hi guys, and they was like, get in there. They took off his robe. They let him basically butt naked. I don't even know if he was butt naked or had some underwear on. I don't even know if they had underwear back then, but they threw him in that well thing, and then they went to go eat. That's messed up. That is so messed up. But and then okay, long story short, they seen some dudes who had spices and stuff, and then they sold him to them. Then they went back and told Jacob that basically that they don't know where Joseph is, but they think he died because they had to give him the robe that he had, because it had blood on it, because they killed an animal and put blood on it, acting like it was Joseph, like that they didn't just sell him. But Joseph was in Egypt, so Jacob was depressed for a long time because that was his favorite son and everything like that. And then let's see, I'm trying to go kind of in order of this one. So this is about Judah. This is the story of Judah. Okay, so Judah is one of Jacob's kids, and now he grew older and stuff, so Judah moved with his friend, and then he got married, and then they had 3 sons. And when the first son was older, he found a wife for him. I think Tamar is the wife. And then Tamar and his first son were getting married, and then but the first son, it doesn't even say what he was going to be wicked. Maybe he was a witch. I don't know. They say he was so wicked that God took him. The God killed him. And then since before she was able to have a kid, he was like, okay, we're gonna give you my second son. So the second son was like, but he said he made the orders for his second son to make the girl pregnant, so that way his firstborn can be avenged, and like his firstborn can have children on the earth. So it basically was like an opposite surrogate. You know, usually women are surrogates for other women. It basically was the opposite. Like he was just gonna have sex with her and make her a wife, but it was gonna be for the first son who died. Like it's gonna be the first son's kids, even though it was like his genes. And he was like, I'm not about to have somebody else's kids. Like what? I ain't about to make nobody else's kids. What? So whenever they were doing intercourse, he wouldn't. How do I make this appropriate? Ejaculate inside of her. He would ejaculate on the floor, and God seen that as wicked. You know, you're not following your father, so God killed him too. Not trying to second guess God. I understand where he was coming from, but not trying to second guess God. So okay. And the third son was too young, so he was like, when my son gets older, you go marry him, but you gotta wait because he's too young to get married right now. Like he barely even know what he's doing. Like relax, give me a second. So it was years that went by. His son finally became older, and I think Judah's wife died. So after he stopped grieving, he went to go find Tamar again to marry her to his youngest son. So now Tamar found out he was coming because word was given. You know how people can't call anybody, but people can see them and they can run faster, take a shortcut. And then so they told her. So she dressed up in like a veil. You know how like women put veil when they're about to get married. But Judah didn't know there was a veil. He assumed that she was a prostitute, and he hasn't been with nobody in a little while because his wife died. I'm assuming he didn't be with nobody else. So when he first seen her, he thought she was a prostitute, and he was like, come here so I can have sex with you. And he tried to smash, and then she was like iffy. She was like, are you sure this is a good idea? And he's like, yeah, blah blah. And she's like, why did he give her his seal? He gave her a seal. Oh, as payment, I think, for it or whatever. And so Jacob gave Judah gave her his sale and like some animal, and then when she was so revealed, Judah did not know who she was, since she was still unrevealed, and so he went back, and then he finally was like, I need myself, I want myself. So he was gonna go back, and then he found out like word got around that like Tamar was pregnant, and they said she was pregnant through prostitution. And then he was like, the disrespect, not knowing that he the baby daddy, you know what I'm saying? So he's like, the disrespect. So he went to go. He ordered for her to be killed. So they're about to kill her, and she was like, the baby is of the man who owns this sale. And so obviously Judah was like, oh, that's me. Oh, that was you. Oh, cool. And so she had 2 kids. One who was going to be born first, but they put the bracelet around him because to signify he was born first. And then, but while he was about to come out, the other one pushed his way through. He was like, oh no, it's my turn, and he came first. So they put it in the Bible for some reason, so it must be significant. But yep, that's the story of Judah. I don't know what happened to his son. I don't think it say anything too much else about his son in there. I read the rest of the Genesis. I don't remember it saying anything else. What time is it? Yeah, I really have to start going, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna and this is when it starts to talk about where Joseph came up in the Bible. So I'll read this either tomorrow or when I get home. Maybe when I get home. No, I'll probably be tired. I'll see y'all next time. Bye. Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry for the weird-ish kind of angle, because I like everything being like this, but I don't have a stand right now to put the phone on, so it has to go a little bit down like this. Why every time I stop recording and somebody wants to do something, just drive on. Anyway, so we are on chapter 39. This is just right after the Judah and Tamar incident. And I'm going to recap for you chapter 39 all the way to chapter 50, which is the end of Genesis. So in chapter 39, it talks about Joseph and the dude who like bought him wife, Potiphar, is what his title is. He's the chief of something. And it talks about his wife. So while Joseph was living with that chief dude or whatever, he thought it was years and years and years. So that dude promoted him to, I forgot what they promoted him to, but he got promoted to something that's like higher, so he was getting paid more, and he wasn't just like a slave anymore, because he was a good worker. You know, Joseph was doing deeds. You know, Jacob was a good worker. He passed the things down. Joseph was a good worker. Ooh, excuse my edges. I'm not about to split on edges for 30 minutes. Just take them off again. But anyways, So while he was growing older, after he was in his position, the dude, his master, his wife, started to like Joseph. She was like, "Oh, you're kind of cute." Oh, so she kept trying to like smash, or if you don't know what smash means, it's like have sex with him, and he was like, no, that's like disrespect. He's like, that's my master. Like, we cool. You like my boss's lady, like that. No, like no. And she kept trying. She kept getting worried that like maybe he was thinking because there's people around that he's not gonna do it. So one day, she made everyone leave from her house, and so that way it was just Joseph and her. And she tried again. And he was still like, no. And she was really being persistent. So he ran away. And while he was running away, she grabbed a part of his cloak. A cloak can be multiple things. It could be a jacket. It could be a necklace. It could be something. So she grabbed his cloak. And he ran like all the way outside. And then when he ran outside, the wife called her servants and was saying that Joseph tried to rape her until she started to scream, and then that's why he ran away, like switching the whole story up. And the proof is that she has part of his cloak, and no one else wears that cloak. So everyone was like, Joseph didn't. So when his master found out about it, he threw Joseph in prison. But God was with Joseph, you see. So since God was with Joseph, God made the prison guard not bow down to Joseph, but the prison guard gave Joseph responsibility over all of the other inmates, and control of all of the inmates, and he can interact with them and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure that was a big prison, because people used to be arresting everybody back in the day. They still arrest a lot of people now. So while he was in the prison, he came towards the cupbearer. I feel like I already said this. Maybe because I've made this video 3 times. He came across a cupbearer and a baker who were arrested from the king and stuff like that. So the cupbearer is someone who gives the cup to Pharaoh. It's the king, but I call him Pharaoh. I mean, it's Pharaoh, but I call him king. So if I say the king, it's Pharaoh. And the baker is what it sounds like, a baker. And so they had dreams, and they were kind of worried about their dreams. I think they were trying to figure out who would interpret them. And Joseph was like, I'll interpret them. But the baker didn't really say anything too much, because he was afraid of what the outcome of his dream would be. Because they were really big on dreams back there. They knew it was visions. They knew it was going to happen. If someone interpreted it, that means it's going to be truth. You know what I'm saying? So he was worried. So he just let the cupbearer talk to Joseph first. And then so the cupbearer told Joseph that there was a vine with grapes. And y'all have to read it yourself if you want the full details. But there's a vine with grapes. And then the grapes... Actually, I'm going to read a little bit. So it says, told Joseph his dream. In my dream, I saw a vine in front of me, and on the vine were 3 branches. As soon as it budded, it blossomed, and its clusters ripened into grapes. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes, squeezed them into Pharaoh's cup, and put the cup in his hand. And then Joseph was like, this is what the dream means. It means that in 3 days you will become Pharaoh's cupbearer again, all will be forgiven and stuff like that. So when the baker heard all of the good things that were happening to the cupbearer, he was like, oh, maybe my dream isn't that bad after all. So he's like, okay, hey, I got a dream too. And then Joseph's like, okay, what dream you got? And then the baker tells him, on my head were 3 baskets of bread. In the top basket were all kinds of baked goods for Pharaoh, but the birds were eating them out of the basket on my head. And then Joseph said, this is what it means. He said, it means in 3 days, Pharaoh is going to chop your head off, and then tie your body to a pole and let the birds eat you. I was like, well, isn't that a turn around? So he was like, oh, I shouldn't have even talked to this dude, bruh. I should have just made a break for it or something. Joseph told the cupbearer, he was like, since you are going to be back in Pharaoh's good gracious, please tell him that I wasn't trying to rape the lady. And so he basically was like, don't forget me, homie, I helped you, you helped me, we all can get out of here. I'm innocent, wrongfully accused. The cupbearer was like, yeah, of course I got you. No, he didn't. So he forgot about him. It's 2 years later. Oh no, I'm saying 2 years. Like I know, it's just that sometime later. Oh no, yeah, it is 2 years. 2 full years has passed. Pharaoh had a dream. He was standing by the Nile. I'm reading chapter 41 if y'all want to know. He was standing by the Nile when out of the river there came up 7 cows, sleek and fat, and they grazed among reeds. So it was cows eating, and they was nice and juicy and meat and everything. And after them 7 other cows, ugly and gaunt, ugly cows, came about the Nile and stood beside those of the river of the Irving. And the cows that were ugly and gaunt ate up the sleek and fat cows. Then Pharaoh woke up. And then he had one more dream. So in this dream, he had some 7 good cows, 7 ugly looking cows, and the ugly cows ate the good looking cows, and they still were ugly. And the second dream he said 7 heads of grain. So this is like a plant, healthy and good, were growing on a single stalk. After them 7 other heads of grain sprouted, and then they scorched, and then it scorched and eats by the wind. So they weren't as like good of grain to use. The thin heads of grain swallowed up the 7 healthy full heads. Then Pharaoh woke up. So basically, he woke up really worried, like, why are all the good ones getting eaten by the ugly ones and blah blah blah. He was real tripping because, like I said, dreams was like real crazy back then. And so he was calling everybody sidekicks. Everybody's like, what is going on? Like, why is this happening? Blah blah blah. And then the cupbearer, now 2 years later, he's like, oh. Well, there was this one dude in prison a little while ago who helped me with my dream. Like, now he wanted to remember Joseph. You know what I'm saying? Now he want to remember Joseph. And so Pharaoh's like, oh, we must get him. And now it's been 2 years in prison, probably more. It doesn't say like how long it was between when Joseph went and then the cupbearer and the baker went, but it says some time had passed, so he was already in there for probably a long time. And then after the cupbearer never talked about Joseph, he was in there for another 2 years. So Joseph grew a lot of hair, and he didn't take no showers, so he was just not looking right. Like, he didn't have no clean shave. So they made him all clean and cut his hair and stuff like that, gave him clean clothes, and then he went inside in front of Pharaoh, and then he was like, and then Pharaoh told him your dream. He's like, I heard you interpret dreams. And Joseph was like, no, the dreams are for God. He was like, don't get it twisted. I ain't got no powers. God shows me what he want to show me, and then he tells me what he wants to tell you, and then we do it like that. Don't blame me. Talk to God. And then so Pharaoh told him the dreams, and he was like, what it means is, there will be 7 years of famine in the land, like all the land that was around, and including Egypt. And he was like, no, there will be 7 good days, 7 good years in the land of Egypt where everything good and healthy and stuff like that. But after that, followed after that would be 7 years of hardship, of famine, which means food shortage. Everything gonna be drying out, food gonna be wearing out. There ain't gonna be that much water. Like, they gonna be struggling. He was like, but you have to elect someone to, you'll be fine if you elect someone to gather up food this whole time and store it for the 7 years. And so Pharaoh basically was like, oh, you look good enough, let's make you, and I'll give you a whole bunch of powers and riches and rule over people, so everybody will look against you. And because he's basically saving all of Egypt, so he gave him a lot of power, almost as much as Pharaoh, but not completely. So years passed. Obviously, Joseph did what he was supposed to do. He saved all of those foods, stuff, and whatever. And the 7 years of famine, 7 years of good stuff left, and then the famine started. And then people started to go to Joseph for food and grain, because on the other lands, he was just doing Egypt and helping Egypt, but on the outside, people were starting to go hungry too. So they all came to Joseph and bought crops from him. So now where Jacob's land is too, is getting a food shortage as well. So he's like, I heard there's food in Egypt. So why are we all just sitting here? Like, y'all need to go to Egypt. So he sends all his sons except for his youngest son Benjamin, because he was young and he already lost Joseph, so he was really attached to his younger son. So he's like, go to Egypt, get food. So they went to Egypt, not knowing that Joseph was still alive or what. They went to Egypt. And then they met up with Joseph. And then now Joseph is older. They haven't seen Joseph since he was 17 years old. And now Joseph was probably like 40, 50. I'm imagining, yeah, about like 40 or 50 years old probably. So so he's all grown and stuff, so they don't really recognize him. But when Joseph sees them, because there's like a good amount of time between them, so like when you get older, your face kind of doesn't change that much. It just gets older, like it just gets wrinklier and stuff, but you can still tell like who is who. But when you're younger, your face changes more, so you're like, what? The glow up is real, like, you know what I'm saying? So he recognized his older brothers, because older brothers have like the similar face, because they're already older. Like the last time you seen them, they were like 30. They were like 20. No, they were like 30, in their 30s, and Joseph was only in his teens. So now they're probably like in their 60s, 70s. No, they're probably like that in like their 50s, and Joseph was like in his 30s or 40s. And then, so they went to Joseph, I know who he is, and then Joseph automatically already knew who he was. So he either was messing with them, or he was like trying to figure out, like he was like mad, so he was still like trying to mess with, like trying to get at them for like, selling him, or he just wants to see the type of person they are now and that they're still wicked. So after they came looking for crops, he accused them of being spies. He was like, no, you guys are spies. I don't believe. They're like, no, please don't tell us we're spies. We just want food for our family and blah, 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 blah. And they're like begging him. And he was like, and he asked them what their family was. And they said he had a father. And then they told him about their younger brother, Benjamin, who's not here. And then that's when he realized that Benjamin is like his real brother, like from his mom. So he started to get wet. So he walked away, and he started to get wet. He started to like get a little sad, like start crying, like, I have a brother. Either he was like, I have a brother, or he wants to, or it's like he's the closest to his brother, because his brother didn't know to him. Because when they, it's not, it doesn't, like they say, Bible doesn't go super in chronological order. So I don't know if when Rachel gave birth to Benjamin, if Joseph was in Egypt, but I think he was. So I don't think he knew he had another brother. His mom had another son. So he started to weep or whatever. And then he came back and he was like, okay, in order for me, I'm going to throw you all in prison. In order for me to tell out your words are true, I'm going to send only one of you out to go get your brother and come back. And they're like, no, please. Blah, blah, blah. And then he threw them in prison. And he's like, and then he felt really guilty because he got fear of God. He was like, okay, this probably isn't the best thing to do now that because I'm a believer in God, you know what I'm saying? So he changed his mind, and he was like, okay, I'm going to send all of you out except for one. And you won't get the one back, like, until you bring me the younger brother to show me proof that you're telling what your words are true. Really, because he just wants to see his younger brother, but he's like, they're just thinking it's because the words are true. And then they're like, oh, this is cursed from us for selling Joseph, blah, blah, blah. Now, they didn't know that. They were speaking to each other in their language. Now, they didn't know Joseph knew what they were saying, because he's in Egypt, and the Egyptians use different languages. So since he was acting like that he wasn't Joseph, he decided to use an interpreter, even though he knew he could understand them. He was using an interpreter, and he was like, and then so the interpreter would like tell him everything that they were saying and stuff like that. And he would respond back in the Egyptian language. So they all thought that he was in Joseph, you know what I'm saying? So he heard him. When he heard that, he like walked away, or he looked away a little bit. He had to like pull himself together, because he started crying, because he could understand them. They just didn't know he could understand him. So they kept Simeon. And then the boys left to go get Benjamin. And when they arrived to Jacob and told him everything that happened, Jacob was like, hell nah. Heck nah, sorry. Oh, excuse me. Jacob was like, heck nah, y'all ain't get it. No dang. Benjamin. I already lost Joseph, and you want to send all my sons there, not knowing if they're gonna come back. Y'all already were in prison. Y'all, you think I'm gonna send all my sons there? You got me messed up. So, he didn't agree with it for a while until the food shortage in his land became real strong. And wait, hold on. Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I'm missing. I was like, I'm missing something. When they first left without Simeon, Joseph did grant them their crops, but he put, since they're his brothers, he gave them their money back. He's like, you don't gotta pay me, bro. Like, that's what he was saying, but he didn't tell them that because they don't know that he's Joseph, right? So they get his money back. So when they open like their saddles and send the money back, they're like, no, someone's trying to play us. He gonna kill us, thinking that we just stole his stuff and blah blah blah. So again, they told Jacob everything, and then Jacob finally agreed to send his son Benjamin after the food shortage got so high and they ran out of those crops. So he's like, so when they went back, they took the money from the first time when they paid him, and then they took more money for more crops. So they basically gave them double the money because they're like, no, we're sorry, like we didn't mean to keep this, blah blah blah. Please take this back. Blah blah blah. I don't know what happened. Blah blah. But let me buy and let me buy some more because we were real starving over here. So when he came back with Benjamin, and then they found out that Joseph said that they were going to meet him for dinner, and they got real worried that at his house and then the Egyptians back then didn't eat with Hebrews, so they were like, what? He wants to eat with us? Oh no, they're like, it's a setup. It's a setup. We getting poisoned, we getting killed. It's a setup. People just keep saying. And then they were telling that to the shepherd, so they went to the shepherd and they were like, no, we didn't steal the silver, blah blah blah. And the shepherd already knew what's going on, that Joseph wasn't gonna kill them, so he's like, boy, like, relax, you alright, just go get you some food. He ain't trying to kill you, you alright, like, relax. And so then they went, they were like, okay, still with like one eye open, like, okay. And when they got there, Joseph sat by himself, the brothers sat by themselves, and the brothers sat in one group, and then the Egyptians who were in Joseph's house sat in one group, and then they all ate. And then he gave Benjamin not one, not two, not three, not even four, 5 times the amount of food he gave everybody else. 5 times. Remember, Benjamin is like not only the only like real like full blood sibling he has, but it's the only one who didn't really do him dirty. So, and he's the older brother. So now he's like, I have a little brother. You got a little brother. You know, it probably that protective mode probably came over a little bit. So after he seen Benjamin, he did get a little wary. He did get a little like emotional. So he left, and when he came back, and then they eat, and they gave him the 5 times more food. So then the other brothers ate off of Benjamin because they were like, oh, because they could eat. So when their foods, the portion size was probably like a good, like the regular portion size that they were eating regularly, so that way they didn't run out of food. But then he gave Benjamin 5 times that size, so they probably were just like, oh, you got more food, okay, they pass that over. Yep. You got some chicken over there? Oh, yep. Is that another corn on the cob I see? Oh, yep. But it seems like I'm barely getting started, but it's actually about to end. And so they left, and again Joseph gave them their money back. He's like, I'm not about to take this money, like I don't know why they don't get that by now, but they still know it's Joseph, so he gave them all their money right back, and he gave them scraps. And then he put his silver cup inside of Benjamin's stall, thinking that he would claim Benjamin stole it and he was gonna kill them, so that way he didn't they didn't look after him, like they didn't look for him, and then Benjamin would just live with Joseph, and then Joseph would probably tell him, I'm Joseph, blah blah, because he was like basically by himself in Egypt. Like I think he had like a wife now, yeah, because when he became like the ruler after they decided to give him like the rule over most of Egypt, underneath Pharaoh still. Pharaoh gave him a wife, and then they had 2 kids. I don't know if they had 2 kids now or later, but I know he had a wife. But he still didn't have like family, you know, like a brother, father, anything like that. He just had like marriage family. And then, so I think he just wanted some love. Joseph just wanted some love. You know, he's a sweetheart. He's been trying to get some love since he be telling people dreams and stuff. But, so that kind of failed because the only way Jacob let Benjamin go was because Judah had to promise him, like, if I don't bring Benjamin back, I don't know what the promise was, but it was basically like, you can kill me or something like that, or like my family or something like that. But he's like, I swear on my life that nothing will harm him but Benjamin. So after like the shepherd caught up with him, because Joseph was like, someone stole my cup, knowing what happened, and then they found the cup in Benjamin's stash. He was like, they all came and they ripped their shirts open, because you know how in like movies and shows and stuff, when you rip your shirts open, it's showing someone's shine of innocence, or that you're like really apologetic. Like when you come and you bow and you rip your shirts open, it's like open to you. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, I didn't do anything, blah 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 blah. Like, yeah, it's just like some type of innocence. And it kind of got dark here, but it still looked light in my camera, so we're gonna keep going. It's not that it's only 4 o'clock, but it's raining. So all of the brothers came in. They did that because they were trying to save Benjamin. They was like, you can kill all of us, but don't kill Benjamin. We promised our father that we will bring him back to you, blah blah. So then Joseph couldn't take it anymore. And so he revealed him. So he made all his servants and everybody go out of the room they're in, and he revealed, like, I'm Joseph, blah blah blah. And then they thought for sure, they were like, oh, he really gonna kill us now. So, and he was like, nah, like, he had explained to them, like, it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been as like close with God. Like, I've been with God has blessed me in so many ways in Egypt that y'all don't even understand. So yes, I did some mess of stuff, but thank you for doing the mess of stuff, because if y'all didn't do it, I probably wouldn't be a ruler that I am today. So they were still like a little but they was like more at peace. But he was like, how was our father? And then they were like, he's really old, blah blah blah. And so they brought long story short, I'm not going to try to explain the whole part because it's not like too interesting. But he was like, we gotta go get our father. And then so they went to their father and they told him everything. How they're like, this is actually Joseph. Joseph is alive. Oh, word. I don't know. I really don't even know if Jacob ever found out that his brother, if the sons ever actually told Jacob, like, we never killed Jacob. Like, Jacob, Jacob was never dead. We just sold him. I don't know if they ever found out that he was sold, or that Joseph was sold, because he doesn't really say it. But he probably don't know when he dead. God probably told him, like, they sold your son, bro. Like, but so when they went and they told Jacob was like, nah, like, I'm not about to get too high for some BS. Like, nah, like, leave me alone. And then he's seen, like, he didn't really believe it until he's seen, like, all the stuff that Jacob brought, that Joseph gave his sons, and, like, all, like, the work. And like he made a chariot, gave him a chariot so that way he can, like, get to Joseph, so that way, like, it was a nice, apparently it was like a really nice chariot, and it was like a whole bunch of gifts, and like, so that way his dad can be comfortable on the long journey back, and so after he's seen, like, all of the work he did, he's like, no regular, like, Egyptian would just do that for a stranger. So he was like, my son is alive. Like, after he's seen all the work that he was put in to get him. And then, so Jacob went and they met up, had a good reunion, and then Jacob was like, I can finally die now that I have seen my son alive. I can finally die peacefully, blah, blah, blah. And then Joseph introduced his whole family to Pharaoh. Pharaoh was very excited and was like, yo, that's your family, cool. Like, Joseph a cool dude, man. I like him, I like y'all. Y'all can say whatever y'all want. Give him the best plans of the line. Nah. Y'all my peeps. Y'all his peace and y'all my peace. So Joseph told his brothers to act like they were shepherds. I don't know what they actually were. That way they can live in the best land. But yeah, so Pharaoh was like, go ahead. So after they told him like what they do, there were he gave them the best land. Ooh, that rain is starting to fall on my way. That's okay. I'm almost done. And then at the last like 49, 50 chapters of Genesis, Jacob got really, really old, and he blessed Joseph's two sons, Masana. Ain't nobody about to lie to y'all. We're gonna figure out these names, okay? Masana and Ephraim. Now, so they say Israel, who is Jacob, eyes were really like weak because he was old and stuff. So they thought. So I'm trying to figure out which one is the older one, which is the younger one. So Ephraim is the younger one, and back then, if y'all can tell, like most people care about the older son more than the younger son. You know, the oldest one always gets something more than the younger son. Like even nowadays, like scholarships are for the firstborn to go to college or something like that. There's a lot of firstborn scholarships more than like secondborn, thirdborn. You know what I'm saying? But Jacob put his son on side of Ephraim's head instead of Masana. It was like blessing him. And then Joseph was like, no, this is the oldest son. And he's like, I know, son, but this is not gonna be the one that do it. The younger one is gonna be the one that changes the game up a little bit, a little something. So Joseph was like, okay. And then he blessed them with the younger son being more blessed. And then he blessed all of his sons. He gave them he gave them a whole speech, which is all of 49. These are all of the blessings he gave them here. And then in 50 is where Jacob dies, and their brothers are like scared, like, oh, now it's not our brother. Now he's not Jacob. They knew Jacob was really close to his father, because they knew he wouldn't betray his father while he was alive. So now he's dead. He's like, oh, he really gonna kill us now? But Joseph betrays him again. Like, nah, my life ended for the better. And then he dies. But they said he was old enough, like, to the point that he was old enough that he did meet his grandkids. So they said he lived a pretty good, decent life after he got sold. After he got out of jail. And yep, that's basically the end of Exodus. The end of Genesis. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. My name is Smiley. You guys are Happy Family. You want to know what the Happy Family is? The link will be down in the description. To join the Happy Family, you have to press the subscribe button. After you press the subscribe button, you have to press the notification bell to get notified whenever I post a video. And so you can stay up with me. Next time you see me, we're going to be doing like half of Exodus. Not next time you see me, but next time you see me post on the Bible, it's going to be on Exodus, I think 1 through 20 or 1 through 19. So I think there's 40 chapters of Exodus. And yeah, so bye.